guys, it's Dom ABT and this is
Luke.
Yeah. And today we have for you the Suicide Squad review, our first review actually.
It's our first review.
Yeah, okay. So
We're not professionals, we
No.
haven't got very good equipment, but
no. You know, we're gonna give it a go, aren't we?
yeah.
Right, so going in to watch this film at the Odeon in Tunbridge Wells, we were pretty hyped, weren't we?
I saw
hyped.
the trailer and I wanted to see it straight away. Like,
Yeah.
as soon, I was really excited to see Jared Leto's Joker, but we'll go into that
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
So, what character should we start off with?
I think we've got to save the best to last, so I think we'll go with El Diablo. He was a great character, I loved him. Start
Well,
off with him.
I don't know, obviously throughout the film, there was always a little bit that the film wasn't revealing about him. We always knew there was going to be some sort of secret, some sort of bigger sort of thing that he was hiding, and eventually at the end of the film he does come out of his shell, but I still think he could have used his ability a little bit more in the film, just because in the entire thing he's sort of just meandering in the background and refusing to kill people, you know what I mean? Like
and all he ended up doing is just shooting flames out of his hands. I thought there could have been something maybe a bit bigger to it. I mean, I love the fact that he was holding it back the whole time, and then suddenly, boom, we suddenly got him coming into the bigger picture. You see how fucking badass he is.
fucking Shakespeare. Oh, God damn it.
Okay, who's next?
Oh,
How about
Killer
that?
Croc.
Killer Croc. Oh, yeah.
See, I love
Loving
Killer Croc as a character in the comic books and the video games. He is one of my favourite sort of Batman, like Arkham Asylum, DC characters. He's incredible, and I think in this film he was just underrated. We didn't get to see.
No, we didn't see
his
enough
potential.
of him. I mean, we need to get a Killer Croc film.
We do, because
No,
the thing is, everyone had their own sort of backstory and their own flashbacks and stuff, but Killer Croc didn't really have
They
one.
didn't really say much about how he came around either.
Yeah.
I mean, all they said was he was held underground, and he was
like a
treated
monster,
like a monster,
so he
which
became a
turned him
monster.
into a monster.
Like me!
So, you know, yeah,
I mean,
it's just a giant crocodile person.
I mean, obviously there's
and
way
he
more
was
to him.
really cool.
There's a
He's
lot
like
more.
Hulk.
There's a lot more depth to his character than was actually revealed in the film. And anyone who knows Killer Croc or has read the DC comics or has played like the Arkham Asylum games, the Batman Arkham games, you'll know that he is a very sort of. He's got more to him than just what was revealed in Suicide Squad, and he didn't have much dialogue, which I thought was a bit upsetting because I'd have loved to see sort of him explain his past and sort of have a bit more speech in it. Hi, running guy. But yeah, I just wish we saw a bit more of him than that. And,
Right. Should we move on to the next one?
who should we go for next? Who are we targeting next? Whose head is it?
I was actually that's interesting.
Will Smith.
I was about to say, whose head are we going to put in our crosshairs next? And just relevantly enough, you said Deadshot.
I
Well,
don't think they could have chosen anyone better than Will Smith.
Will
to
Smith
play
was incredible.
Deadshot.
He was so good.
It was great. And
I think out of
when he's first introduced and he's got to kill that guy and he's like, I need to see figures. I need like, because the guy hasn't paid him and he's just sitting there just waiting for the money to come up into his bank account before he shoots this guy. Like, oh, I'm afraid it's double now. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
It is.
He does.
Like the fact he acts like a dick, but in a sort of friendly banter way, I thought was quite good. But there wasn't a better character at all. That like I think in the entire film he was my favourite character. Just the sort of remarks he made in his dialogue. I mean, out of all of them, he had the best backstory. I think he had the best backstory.
And like, I mean, you really believed his character. I mean, he had a daughter and a wife, and he was completely pulled away from them, and you could see where his characteristics has come from. That's Deadshot from the character.
Yeah, I think the film in general, especially with Deadshot, I like how it made villains, it gave them a backstory, it gave them a past, it made viewers sympathise with them rather than them just being this evil sort of mask that goes around murdering people and stuff like that. It gives them a personality, it gives them a backstory, and it's just can't speak. But I think should we go on to Captain Boomerang?
I thought he was.
I like.
He was a nice character, and I like the fact he was always trying to escape.
Yeah.
And then whenever he tries to escape, he's always trying to do it with someone, and the person that who just does it before him ends up dying. He's like, oh no, maybe not.
Yeah, I think this whole head explosion stuff is bullcrap.
It's like he's
Never
trying
mind.
to act like the biggest man around, but then suddenly somebody dies. Like, no, I'm gonna.
I think my favourite bit with Captain Boomerang is, okay, you're free to go.
He literally just walks off. It's just like, yeah, I'm out of here, mate.
I'm done.
Oh no, I love the character. I love the fact of using like boomerangs as sort of like weapons as well, because I don't think
It's quite similar to
yeah.
Batman's Batarangs. in a
exactly.
way.
It's not really like, boomerangs and sort of stuff like that. Isn't sort of something that you would use as a weapon, or isn't really commonly thought as a weapon.
Yeah.
You've got guns, you've got swords, you've got baseball bats, but you never really think of a boomerang. I really like that.
Well, the thing is, as you know, and some of you out there that are watching, if you know me, possibly hate me, you'll know that I don't, like, I've never really read comic books. I'm not a huge comic book fan. I'd love to be a comic book fan, but I've never read DC or Marvel or anything like that. But I'm not actually sure. I think Boomerang was actually a character in the old DC comics, but he was just underrated. But I'm not sure. I think he was. They didn't just create him for this film. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Slipknot either.
He died.
That's the guy who
Yeah.
would have. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the guy that could travel anywhere, and he was
Yeah.
the first one to die. And that was the thing
Oh,
is,
wasn't-
he was so random because they didn't give him a backstory. He just came out. He was like, "Hey, this is Slipknot. He can get anywhere," and that was it. And then in 10 minutes, poof, dead.
Yeah.
His head just became pulp.
There was no reason to put him in the bloody.
The
film.
only reason he was in it was so that there was evidence that the head explodey bullshit thing was actually real.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only reason he
But
was in it.
that's not one of those annoying things. We also had Katana.
Yes, Katana.
Katana.
Her husband's death, trapped in a sword. I always thought that was a bit dumb.
Oh, my husband's soul is trapped in this sword, so I'm going to kill every bad guy and let their evil soul be trapped in there with him. You reckon he's just being tormented by loads of dickheads?
Probably all the bad guys, they're all together and they're like, we're thieves. And she's like, I'm not a thief. And I was like, well, you kill people. I mean,
You have
just
murdered
as
people.
bad as the rest
If
of
not
them.
worse. Like, okay,
Oh.
you might be doing it for a good cause, but it's still technically a crime. I mean,
So it's just like, I didn't like her. I mean, she was kind of badass, but she wasn't like the coolest character there at all.
right.
So I don't really want to say much more
Coming,
about her.
coming off of the villains, Viola
Big
Davis.
cog in the massive operation, the tormentor.
The weird sort of interrogator lady.
Yes.
She was the main. I think she brings a whole sort of.
Yeah.
She like she refreshes what a villain is supposed
Yeah.
to be. She sort of reminds me of a sociopath in the way that she knows what she's doing, doesn't really care about the consequences, doesn't have empathy for anyone.
Like she's where all the operations start from, and when you look at normal films, you usually get like a male character doing that, and I think they've completely changed that to a female character, and it has really worked for this one. And I thought she was just her character was just amazing.
I thought she was really good. I mean, she was sort of a sub sort of boss lady, even though she wasn't on the same team as the Sorceress. She was definitely a villain in my eyes. I mean, you might have different opinions. By the way, don't take anything we say don't think that's the only opinion you can have, because we're just a couple of dickheads, really. We don't really have valid opinions.
This has been cut out.
Is it?
Okay, so next person, the Enchantress.
Cara Delevingne.
I hated it.
You hated the Enchantress.
It was terrible.
You see, this
That
is...
the Enchantress. 1 minute she's good, next minute she's bad. What's going on here?
I think we have differing opinions on this.
I really did not like her at all, and I hated the big fight at the end. It was meant to be big, meant to be awesome, but no, it was absolutely rubbish. And her voice was terrible. Everything was terrible.
I mean,
hated it.
I liked her. I genuinely, I thought, yeah, the transition from good to bad was a little bit rapid, but her as a character I thought was quite good. I think she played the part quite well, and the only complaint I have is the sort of, I don't know, you could tell she was put on that sort of Enchantress witchy thing. You could tell that it was acted. It was very fake, and it was very sort of, it was very sort of,
like the waviness, and
yeah, and
it's
she
like
just
trying to be a ghost. And so
I know.
it
I mean, it was sometimes she was genuinely quite disturbing and uncomforting. But at the same time, she could have done it a little bit better, I think. I mean, I'm no great actor myself. I mean,
We'll talk about the Joker next. I think we're saving the best till last.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto doesn't appear much, so it's a bit pointless having him in
Yeah.
there sometimes.
I mean, the thing is, I liked him, but I didn't at the same time. I liked his character. I liked the way he tried to put on the Joker. I liked his impression and his version of the Joker. He's more demented sort of. If we saw him more, we would have got to sort of understand his character and develop feelings for him and sort of invest in that character. But because he was only in it for like 20 minutes, I mean, you can't
Yeah.
really.
I mean, obviously, we weren't expecting him to be in it for ages anyway. But I just think he didn't seem as though the Joker would be.
Right.
I just wanted him.
He
to
didn't
be,
live
he
up
needed
to
be
Heath.
really, really crazy.
He
needed
didn't
to
live
be
up to
the
Heath Ledger's
Joker.
name. He
It's
didn't
not
live up
the-
to Heath Ledger. Heath
No.
Ledger was the greatest, I think. But I did like his twist, like the whole psycho sort of the way he laughed and
It
the
was
tattoos
quite-
he had.
yeah.
The tattoo he had on his hand,
That
and
tattoo
sort of the
was pretty
demented
cool,
tattoos
He had. I thought it was a really good idea, and the sort of styling he had, like he wore sort of classy jackets and stuff like that, and stuff like.
He did.
You know, he had
and then
the white
that bit
makeup.
where he's sort of got the knives and stuff in
Yeah.
a circle, and he sat there, and then he bring the car out. And like, the way he sat there, I think they just sort of like
Yeah.
that gave him all the characterization it needed. Really, it didn't
One
need much
thing-
explaining on that bit.
One thing I didn't quite understand. He spends the entire film looking for Harley Quinn and trying to rescue her and get her out of the situation she's in. But when he crashes the car, he disappears and leaves her for dead. So, like,
Yeah.
he crashes, he disappears, and then...
Same.
Are we moving on to next character?
Yes.
Right. This is Dom's favourite character, for obvious reasons. I mean, Harley Quinn.
I liked her. I think she did a really good
I
role.
liked it when she was getting changed.
You sick bastard. my favourite part, by far, I have two favourite parts with Harley Quinn. It's the bit where they were in the building, and she looks at the vats below, and she has that sort of like, that sort of vision in her head of her jumping in, and then the Joker jumping in to save her. That was interesting. I did like her as a character, and the other bit I liked was just after the Joker crashed in a helicopter, and she was sitting on top of the car, and she was like crying.
That was
And then
really-
as soon as the other guys came along, she sort of acted as if she was fine. She sort of was like, "Hey guys, how's it going? I'm fine. I'm not crying over my possibly dead husband." But yeah, I liked.
I must say that was probably one of my
Yeah.
favourite bits as well.
Another thing is the way they don't idolize at all. They do not idolize the relationship between
No.
Joker and Harley Quinn. They make it
No.
very obvious that it's an unstable, unfair, very Joker-dominated relationship in the way,
she
especially
completely
in super
takes
movie
this
films.
turns the wheel round on that.
In
and she's-
superhuman films like sort of the Batman versus Superman and the Spider-Man films, the women are always quite
they're
victimized.
always
quite
the ones that have to be
they
saved.
play the typical damsel in distress in superhero films. But I liked that in this one there were not only one but two strong female characters. Three actually.
Yes, three
Strong female characters.
So overall, the whole film,
Whole film.
I have memory loss. I've forgotten most of it. It was a good film. I wouldn't say it was
It was.
It wasn't astoundingly great.
I thought it was mediocre for
Yeah.
the amount of hype that it got. It was mediocre.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge
Didn't.
fan of the plot. It was quite linear and it didn't flow too well. And I do agree, like some of the other critics before it came out, they said that the editing was kind of weird. Sometimes I can understand that. Yeah. The soundtrack was incredible. I loved the music in it. It was such a good
Well,
soundtrack.
that's what we're going to have playing over this. So, we're going to go for our own rating here on the film.
What are we doing? Out of 10 or are we
IMDb
doing?
have given it a 6.9.
Wait, are we doing
star.
10 stars? Are we
Out of
doing
10,
out of
it's out of
5?
10.
Are we out of
Yeah.
10? Out of 10.
So, as we've got on a piece of paper here, IMDb have given it 6.9 out of 10 stars.
Rough rating.
Mine would be very close to that. I'm going for a 7.
Go for a 7th.
I'm gonna go for it. Well, I was contemplating going for something like a 6.5, but then I thought, no, I think I'm gonna go for a 7.
Lucky number
But,
7! That's what I go for, yeah? 7?
I'm going for 7.
7. I reckon, out of 10, for the amount of hype that it got and the lack of Joker and stuff like that, and the little flaws with editing and stuff like that, I'd reckon I'd give it think I'd give it a 7.5. 7.5.
You're being quite generous here, aren't you?
I am. I'm in a generous mood. I'm very hyper. Dom's just made me a
Okay.
coffee with like
Lots of
90% sugar.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. I just drank
So
the entire thing.
we're almost finished now. But before you go, if you haven't already seen it, before you go off and watch it, I suggest, if you haven't seen Batman vs Superman yet,
I haven't
suggest you
seen it.
watch that first. Otherwise, there may be, or if you don't know what happens in it, what happens at the end, then you may want to watch that first because of spoilers.
I
at the
haven't-
beginning of the Suicide
I
Squad.
haven't seen Batman vs Superman just because it didn't really seem like my kind of thing, and I heard a lot of bad things about
No,
it.
but Batman vs Superman obviously is not a review for that, but it's so anticlimactic.
yeah, but it did start off obviously the beginning of Suicide Squad. It's carrying on from the end of Batman vs Superman, so
Yeah.
it's self-explanatory. It's very self-explanatory if you haven't seen Batman vs Superman. It sort of explains it
But
at the
if you
beginning.
want to watch Batman, but if it's something you're really into, then I suggest you watch that before this. Don't knock Mini Shakespeare over. Anyway, we're gonna cut to the trailer, and then we'll see you later.
I mean, I didn't mean to give them the middle finger though.
Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide. No escape from reality.
I want to assemble a task force of the most dangerous people on the planet. They're bad guys. Worst of the worst.
Too late. Open the gate. My time has come. Send shivers down my spine.
Was this cheerleading trials?
All the time.
Hi, boys.
Goodbye, everybody.
Deadshot. Guy shoots people. He's a crocodile and he eats people. Burns people. You're possessed by a witch and she's just crazy.
What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. It's the voices. I'm kidding. That's not what they really said.
This is the deal. You're going somewhere very bad
Whoa!
to do something that'll get you killed. Let's go save the world.
I can't wait to show you my toys.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
Let's do something fun.
So you think you can stop me and spit my eye? So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get right out of
Seriously, what the hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
nothing really matters.